Up next, we have the CEO of Synonym, John Carvalho, who will tell us how Slashtags fixes this. Or yes, John. I think you don't need a lot of introduction, but good to see you.
Thanks.
Have fun.
Check, check. All right. That's the last slide.
John, this is awkward.
You know, the same thing happened to me last year.
Is Slashtags going to fix this?
Let's see.
Let's see. All right, here you go.
All right, hello everyone. Name of this presentation is Slashtags Fixes This. You've all heard the meme for Bitcoin fixes this, and I obviously believe that's true. That's why I'm here. But Bitcoin fixes the money, and we're trying to see how we can have technology to combine with Bitcoin to also fix the web and the economy at large. So it's about rebooting the web. My name is John Carvalho. I am the CEO at Synonym. If you don't know what Synonym is, I'll tell you a little bit about our design principles, because I think that's a good way to frame what makes us unique and interesting. The first one is that we do Bitcoin, not blockchain. We just believe that literally, oops, bumped into it. We believe that literally Bitcoin is the only thing that you need a blockchain for, and so we like to try to find ways to prove that through the technology choices that we make. So that way, if you want to do things like tokens or identity, these kinds of things, we like to show how you don't need shitcoins and you can do them without a blockchain at all. Scalability is important to us. We believe that the future economy for Bitcoin needs to be a circular economy, which is, the basic definition of this is just minimizing conversion. So not having to exchange things all the time in order to use them, and that goes for money and data. Interoperability. So we want to make sure that you are a self-sovereign individual and that everything about you is portable and interoperable with anywhere you go. So that way you can control your money, your data, your accounts, etc. Privacy-minded. I think that privacy is lost, not gained. And so the most important question when trying to be private is, who do you trust? If you're on a network, you're always trying to perform some sort of action with at least one other peer, and so you need ways to be able to make good choices about who you act with in a network in order to manage your privacy. And then finally, self-custodial. We believe, not your keys, not your coin. I think those lessons have been pretty evident recently with FTX exploding, et cetera. But we believe this applies also not only to your Bitcoin, but your accounts and your data. And so what we're here to talk about is Slashtags, and Slashtags is indeed a way to show you how you can use keys for everything. So first, I want to summarize a little bit of how we have applied Slashtags as a technology in our new wallet. A couple weeks ago, we announced BitKit, which is our kind of offering to show how we think a Bitcoin wallet should be done. So this is BitKit. There's the logo, a nice orange pill for you. Let's get into a little bit about what BitKit's trying to do and what features it has that are unique for a wallet because it supports Slashtags. So the idea with BitKit is we're trying to get you to take charge of your digital life. We're trying to show how if you have a truly peer-to-peer economy that you can have at least the best version of freedom where people are self-regulating, and again, you own your data, you own your money. So the first feature that Slashtags enables in BitKit is this concept of a portable public profile. This is taking the concept that you have like in your Twitter profile, your Facebook profile, that is controlled and owned by these websites, and having it be something that you own and you control. And we do this by using a pub key, much like you use for your Bitcoin, except a different elliptic curve. You can't send Bitcoin directly to a /tag key, but you can use it for payments. We'll get into that later. And so if you combine the concept of a public profile with the concept of phone contacts, you can actually upgrade the experience from what you're used to. In phones, you're always like buying a new phone and then importing your contacts from the old one, and you have all these stale contacts in there that you don't even use anymore with old information. Well, if you use the public profile format in Slashtags, you can have contacts where they control their data. And so when you add a contact, what you're actually doing is you're subscribing to their pub key in a DHT, much like BitTorrent, and you're looking for their file that's owned by them and only created by them and only writable by them to get the information that they are choosing to be about them. And so when you follow somebody in BitKit, you're using Slashtags to basically follow a key and see what every time you look at the profile, you're looking at the current data in that profile. And so you don't have to update or populate your contacts do. This is also used in BitKit to show the kind of user experience that people are used to in traditional, banking apps and payment apps, where in BitKit, when you want to pay someone, if you're using the contacts features, you can simply type in an amount, choose a contact, tap on their face, and click send. There's no worrying about whether it's a Lightning invoice or an on-chain address or if it's Bolt 11 or Bolt 12 or whatever. What it does is it abstracts all of that decision tree into the profile data that's on the network. And so it checks and it says, hey, what are the endpoints? What are the payment methods this contact actually supports? And it looks for a match with the wallet that's using Slashtags. So right now, BitKit only supports Bitcoin and Lightning, so you'll have to pay one of those two methods. So for example, if the peer is offline, in the background, it will automatically check what payment endpoints are available and which ones you can actually pay to, and it will choose the one that's actually possible. So it'll use like an on-chain address if the peer is offline. But as a user, you don't have to see any of that. It just checks and handles it all in the background for you. Again, get paid any way you want. So this is just, more detail about what I was just saying. The idea here is that we can abstract payment protocols to your identity key, your public profile key, and that way you don't have to worry about when you have all of these new formats we keep getting. You have legacy Bitcoin, SegWit, Taproot addresses, Bolt 11, Bolt 12, Lightning addresses, Paynims, tokens on Lightning, tokens on Bitcoin. You can have all of these different payment formats, and at some point, it's going to be a huge mess, and no merchant wants to deal with that, no user wants to deal with that. So this is a way you can just abstract it all underneath a payment protocol that's just for the actual user identities. Another cool area of the app that leverages Slashtags is widgets. And so we have this section underneath, your Bitcoin card in the app where you can see these various widgets that are possible, and you can add these widgets the same way you add contacts. You're just subscribing to a key on the DHT network, and you're able to follow that data in a data stream. And so underneath in this network, we're using, unlike with BitTorrent, we're using append logs. And so each drive is owned by a key, and so you know that there's integrity to the data, there's sequential integrity to the data, and so you can have a data stream. And so you can see here some examples that we have in the app where you will be able to very soon add a Slashtags feed widget from Bitfinex for your Bitfinex account. And so you can see like your current balance on Bitfinex or your current profit and loss. Basically any data that Bitfinex wants to put in there, they can serve a feed dedicated for that user. So it's not for anybody else, it's just for the user, but it's a way to see what's in your account without having to visit the website at all. And then you can do this for chat apps or social media apps, like show how many new followers you have, or basically any data you could think of. It's like an RSS feeds on steroids, kind of. And then finally, you can see there are a couple. We have like these stock widgets that we've added as examples inside of BitKit: Bitcoin price, Bitcoin headlines, and Bitcoin block. And so you can see the latest, Bitfinex price in USD or any of the other currencies they support, and it takes that data from the feed and it renders a little price chart showing, the history of that data. And you can see the latest headline from, we compile various RSS feeds across the Bitcoin space, and if you want to read that latest headline, you can just tap on that widget to read the headline. And then finally, we use Slashtags similarly to how maybe you've seen other technologies use keys to log in. You have like LNURL auth, you have MetaMask and Wallet Connect and various, and you're going to have more, various ways of authenticating without using an email address and a password or a username and password, and instead using a key pair. Well, this is, again, an upgrade to those methods. It's an upgrade in a few ways. One is the website itself is abstracted from the domain name, and so it's a more censorship-resistant method. The website is also a key, and so when you are trying to authenticate in the website can prove that it's the right place. And so if you accidentally want to log into Bitfinex, but you somehow clicked on a link that's for somebody trying to scam you, and it's at Blitfinex or something, you will just try to sign in, and what it will do is create an additional widget of a blank account, and now you have two, and you'll be like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. And so the website that's trying to scam you, they don't get your password, they don't get any information about your account. It's just basically a waste of time to try and scam people that use this method using this kind of middleman attack. It also enables the website to be able to do deep linking or magic linking. And so after you've created an account on starbacker.com, you can see right here, they have actually implemented this if you want to play with it. You can create an account there with the key, don't have to give them an email address. They can automatically pull your public profile data if you want them to and use that as your profile on Starbacker. And then later, if you want to log in again, you can just tap to log in. You don't have to even scan a QR code or do any kind of special thing. You can just open BitKit, tap the widget for the website you want to log into, and it just automatically opens the browser with you logged in and authenticated. So all of this is powered by Slashtags. We have this slogan, the web we weave. The idea here is to take these primitives and allow you to build all kinds of cool things that you can pair with Bitcoin apps, because Bitcoin is the first time that we've given people the ability to hold their own keys. So let's look a little bit deeper into the tech underneath and how Slashtags works. So what is Slashtags? Basically, it's just a way to rebuild the web that's key-based and rebuild the data structure of the web without having to rely on central servers. The idea is, self-sovereignty starts with local-first apps and data. So we always want every user, if they choose to be able to host their own data, hold their own keys for everything in their digital life. The way Slashtags works is we have our own key derivation for how we take the initial seed of your Bitcoin wallet, and then we generate everything you need for Bitcoin, for the Lightning node in BitKit, and also a special key on a different elliptic curve, the ED curve, for your Slashtag keys that you're going to generate. This derivation method allows you to restore the entirety of the app from nothing. And so as long as you're taking advantage of our backup servers, which also use Slashtags, you can actually, with only your seed, restore a BitKit wallet. It will populate your Bitcoin, the Bitcoin that you had on Lightning, all of the contacts that you had, all of the metadata that you had inside of the app, like if you tagged transactions and stuff, everything. So this is a little summary of the kind of features that I mentioned so far of what Slashtags is doing to power BitKit, and in general things that you could use to build with your apps in the current version of Slashtags. We actually have a lot more coming through as well. Portable profiles, dynamic contacts, distributed feeds, that's part of what does the widget stuff, passwordless accounts, negotiated payments, that's the ability to pay contacts using Slashtags as the layer above. The magical keychain, I want to add a little note here where it's not in BitKit yet, but in the next version, or I should say a future version, we're adding tweaking. I don't know how much any of you know or care about this, but it allows you to have a topic to voluntarily associate keys. And this solves problems like being able to have the same /tags data in multiple devices, being able to have certain contacts that can find you in certain places, even if you're using a different key, things like this. Modular widgets, this is basically like you could have entire websites that are served this way. You could treat the data layer as a CDN, as a web server and web host, because the user holding the keys allows them to now allow anybody else to seed that data for them, like without having to be trusted. And then, of course, encrypted backups, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, where you can use your key and your seed from your Bitcoin wallet to retrieve an encrypted copy of the backup for your entire wallet to restore it. The data layer in DHG that I mentioned, the tech that we're using for that is called Hypercore. It's a stack of many modules that use this DHT swarm and ability to have like these virtual drives or these network drives that are represented by keys. The cool part here is it basically does a lot of the things that you would do with a blockchain because it has this sequence to it and it has this ability to append data and it's locked by a key, but it only has the mutual use case and the centralized quote-unquote use case of the user in control. And so it's a lot cooler than using BitTorrent as a layer for data for the internet because it has a lot more power and a lot more ways that you can build it into other things. The Slashtags SDK is out now. If you go to slashtags.to, as it says there, you can start to play with the SDK for your apps. Everything is JavaScript in some way. We've got Node.js, we've got React Native aspects for mobile. And then at that website, we have a really cool playground. The playground right now has 6 demos on it. Some of them are very similar to what you already see in BitKit, but this is a way that you can actually use BitKit to interact and test these things implemented on a website level. And so you can see how for your website projects that you could implement these. And so you have all of the code for this stuff is open source, and you can see how all of these things work. And we've also given you like hints on how to do user experiences with these things by interacting with these playground demos. So we have a profile demo, which basically you can put in any /tags pub key to look up any profile on the network. It'll pull it and render it and show you how a website could render these profiles without actually even like being a /tags wallet. It's just going to the DHT, asking for the data, and then rendering it however the website wants. /tags accounts, we have kind of like a mock website where you are creating an account and logging in, and it's showing how you can do the magic linking, the tap to log in, all of these things. Bitfinex soon will have both the feeds for your accounts and being able to create a Bitfinex account using a /tag key. And it kind of shows the user experience tease there in that demo. And then, of course, there are demos for the 3 widgets that we serve directly in BitKit: Bitcoin price, Bitcoin headlines, and Bitcoin blocks. So you can go to the web page and actually just scan a QR code with BitKit, and it will go and look up that data in the background, and it will add that data feed as a widget in BitKit. And any app can do this, and anybody can make a widget that would be able to do this in BitKit or any wallet that supports /tags. So like if you want to have this Bitcoin headlines widget inside of your podcast app and you support /tags, your users could do the same thing. Just scan that QR code the same way you would with BitKit. So yeah, that's the gist of it. The idea is to build a better web by putting the key in your hands for everything. Here is a QR code if you want to scan to visit the /tags website and play with the playground. Here is a QR code to install and try BitKit. We just put out an update today, like an hour ago or so, that fixes a lot of the bugs. It's still in beta testing, so please give it a whirl, play with it. You can try all the features of /tags there. Try Bitcoin. We've got a LDK node in there, so you're holding your own keys for your Lightning node as well. And that's it. Synonym, digital freedom starts with you. So please go to synonym.to. You can try all of our products. We've got BlockTank for LSP, if you want to run an LSP server, fully open source as well. We've got BitKit, fully open source as a mobile Bitcoin wallet. And we've got Slashtags as a web solution for being able to solve all these other problems that you might need to create the user experiences I explained here. Thank you.
Q&A, or are you good?
What's that?
You want to do any Q&A, or are you good?
Do you want to?
We got time for one question. Does anybody have a question? We got time for like one of them here. Oh gosh, no, this is tough. Who had their hand up first? All right. 3. Now we have time for half a question.
So regarding data, you mentioned that you use Hypercore. Does it require a node, or what happens if the data is offline? Is it redundant? Where is the data?
So it works a lot like, if anybody didn't hear him, he's asking like if you need a node to make this work, and if you're offline, what happens? So as I mentioned earlier, this is working a lot like BitTorrent. And if you've used BitTorrent before, you can see how when you're trying to like download a movie, you don't just get it from one person, right? You get it from everybody that has that movie. And so it works that similarly. The difference here is, why is somebody going to be hosting your profile, right? Like they don't even know you exist. So what we do is, in the BitKit wallet, when you have the app open, you are a seeder on the DHT. And so if somebody wants to get your profile, they can get it just by asking the DHT who has this file, and you will be one of the people that has the file, and they will leech it directly from you. But if you have the app, the problem with mobile is when you close the app, you have to stop serving, and so you can't do this kind of thing. And so what we do, since this is public data, you still have to know the pub key to find it. So it's more about if you know it's public. We actually, as a free service, provide seeding for all of the drives that BitKit users create. And so this way, when you close the app, they'll still find another node that has a copy. In the future, what we'll do is, you could technically, right now, run your own seeder, and we could add a setting in BitKit where you could point to your seeder instead of ours and tell it to always keep a copy there. But users don't quite know about any of this or care, and we're just trying to demonstrate how it can work. And we're also trying to demonstrate that because you own the keys to the data and only you can write the data, that anybody can serve it for you. Like, we can't change your data, and otherwise people will go and look for your data and it will have a different drive, and they won't find it. So they can only find the data that you made, and so it's kind of like a trustless way to do the serving of the data. In the future, what we're going to do is we're going to give nodes ways to pay and be paid to get other nodes in the network to seed their data. Now that's, in 2023, it doesn't work that way yet. But technically, yes, you could run a node. You just don't need to in the mobile setup, because we're redundantly doing it for you for free at the moment. That doesn't scale. Eventually, if there's 2 million people doing this, there'll have to be fees, and they'll have to use some sort of like swarm cloud capability. But that's the plan, and that's what's cool about it, is anybody can seed the data just like anybody can seed data on BitTorrent.
Okay, thank you. And
No
thanks for the effort in the debate against the Bitcoin Core people. I'm on your
Thanks.
side. Hang on.
All right.
Anyone else have a question? We got one more.
Got time for one more quick one here.
Thank you. Very, very interesting. I have one question about the payments. You mentioned payments very, very quickly. What's your value proposition on payments? Is it identity? Is it fraud? Is it factor payment? What do you do in payments area?
I don't understand. On what?
You mentioned negotiated payments very quickly. What's your value proposition on Lightning payments?
My value proposition on Lightning payments is, well, that has nothing to do with the negotiated payments. In other words, the idea here is, if you want to have the values of whatever payment method you want, you can list that as one of the payment methods you support in your, basically like your public profile. And so you can say, okay, I want to pay you, and say your name is Joe, and I want to pay Joe. I tap on Joe, and all I know about Joe is his /tag key. And then it goes to the DHT, and it looks for Joe's data, And then Joe made that data, and it says, oh, okay, you want to pay me? Here are the methods that I currently support right now. And it will be on-chain, and it will basically just be URLs to endpoints. Here's where you can get an on-chain address. Here's where you can get a Lightning invoice. Here is my paynym. Here is my Lightning address. You know, you could put anything in there, and if the app that's checking the data doesn't understand, it just won't use that method. And so what it's looking for is a match. And if there are no matches, then you can't pay the person, right? But the idea is that you could have PayPal in there, you could have credit card server in there, you could have anything in there. It just depends on what both peers support.
Okay, thank you. Very clear. Thank you.
No problem.
Am I on? I am. All right, let's give John another round of applause.
Thank you.